Welcome to another episode of Deep Dive into Real Estate by Team Luddy Dillon. This is the place where we simplify real estate for you, one topic at a time. Enjoy.
Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us.
It's great to be here.
Today we're going to be tackling something that might sound a little bit dry at first, but trust me, it's actually super important for anyone who owns or wants to own property, especially here in the amazing Peel region.
That's right. We're talking about Brampton, Caledon, and Mississauga.
Exactly.
And we're part of Laddie Tellon's real estate team.
Yes, and we've been helping people in the Peel region navigate the market since 2007.
That's right, 18 years now.
So we're all about making sure you guys have the knowledge you need to make informed decisions about your real estate plans.
Exactly.
So are you ready to dive in?
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
All right. So let's talk about capital gains tax.
Okay.
It can sound a little intimidating, maybe even a bit boring.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly scream excitement, right?
But here's the thing.
It's important.
It's directly tied to what happens when you sell an asset like a property.
Right? Whether that's that condo you've been eyeing in Mississauga or that piece of land you inherited out in Caledon.
So basically, capital gains tax is all about how much the government taxes you on the profit you make when you sell something like a house.
Right.
Okay, so let's break this down.
Okay.
What exactly is capital gains tax?
So imagine you bought a house a few years ago, and now it's worth way more than what you paid for it.
Happens all the time in a hot market like Peel region, right?
Exactly. And that increase in value, that's your capital gain.
Okay.
And the government wants a piece of that profit.
That's how they keep the lights on. I guess, roads, schools, hospitals, all that good stuff.
Exactly.
But how much are we talking about here? Like, what's the government's cut?
Well, that's where things get interesting.
Okay.
Because the Canadian government recently made some announcements about capital gains tax.
Wait, are you talking about that whole capital gains tax hike thing?
Yeah, that's the one. And there's some good news and maybe some not so good news.
Ooh, I love a good plot twist later.
So initially the plan was to increase the capital gains inclusion rate.
Okay.
From 50% to 66.67%.
Wait.
Yeah.
Back up for a second.
Sure.
What exactly does inclusion rate mean?
So the inclusion rate basically determines how much of your profit the government includes in their tax calculations.
Okay, so let's say I make a profit of $100,000 from selling my property.
Right.
With the old 50% inclusion rate, only $50,000 of that profit would be taxed.
Exactly.
But with the new 66.67% rate,
right.
$66,670 of my profit would be taxed.
That's right.
Ouch. That's a pretty big jump.
It is, but hold on, there's good news.
Okay.
The government recently announced they're delaying that increase to January 1, 2026.
Oh, that's a relief. So that gives us some breathing room, right?
Exactly. It gives everyone more time to plan and strategize their real estate moves.
So we got a bit of a grace period, but I'm guessing this doesn't mean the capital gains tax is staying the same forever, right?
You're right. The increase to 66.67% is still on the table.
Ah.
But there is a bit of a silver lining.
Okay, tell me more.
There's a $250,000 threshold for individuals.
So like a safety net before the higher rate kicks in.
Exactly. Only the gains above that $250,000 would be subject to the higher rate.
Okay, so imagine I'm selling my Brampton bungalow, and let's say I bought it for $400,000, and now it's worth $700,000.
Right.
That's a profit of $300,000.
Right.
But with this threshold, only $50,000 of that profit would be taxed at the higher rate.
You got it. You're getting the hang of this.
So the first $250,000 of my profit is safe.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better.
Good. It's not all doom and gloom, though.
Oh, good. Tell me more.
There are some exemptions you can take advantage of.
Okay.
Like the Lifetime Capital Gains Exemption.
Oh, what?
The Lifetime Capital Gains Exemption, and it just got a boost.
Okay.
Starting June 25, 2024, it jumps up to $1.25 million.
Wait, $1.25 million?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. Who does that apply to?
That one's specifically for people selling small business shares or farm properties.
Okay.
Or even fishing properties.
So let's say you're a farmer in Caledon, and you've decided it's time to retire and sell the family farm. This exemption could save you a ton of money in taxes.
Exactly. It could be a huge help.
Wow.
And for entrepreneurs, there's a new program starting in 2025
Okay.
called the Canadian Entrepreneurs Incentive.
Okay. The Canadian Entrepreneurs Incentive. So what is that?
It's designed to help people who are selling their businesses.
Okay.
It offers a reduced inclusion rate
Okay.
of 33.33%
Okay.
on up to $2 million in eligible capital gains.
So instead of 66.67% of their profit being taxed, They only have to worry about 33.33% on up to $2 million.
Exactly. It's a pretty good deal.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like a reward for their hard work and risk-taking.
Right.
But with all these changes and exemptions, it's starting to feel a little overwhelming.
Yeah, I can understand that.
How is the average person supposed to keep track of all of this?
Well, it's definitely a lot to take in. And it's important to remember that these changes can have different impacts depending on what type of property you have.
Right.
And where it's located.
Especially in a market as diverse as Peel region.
Exactly.
I mean, you've got everything from condos in Mississauga to detached homes in Brampton to those rural properties in Caledon.
Right. And each area has its own unique trends and factors to consider.
So how can people navigate all of this?
Well, that's where having a trusted guide can be really helpful.
Okay, like someone who really understands the Peel region market?
Exactly.
You're talking about someone like Laddie Dillon.
Yes. Laddie has been a real estate expert in the Peel region since 2007.
Wow.
And he and his team, they really know the market inside and out.
They've seen it all.
They've seen all the ups, the downs.
All the craziness.
The bidding wars, everything.
So how can Laddie's team help people specifically with these capital gains tax changes?
Well, they've been really busy analyzing these changes and looking at how they might impact different types of properties in different areas within Peel region. Okay. So whether you're looking at condos in Mississauga or detached homes in Brampton or maybe some of those beautiful rural properties in Caledon,
Right.
Laddie's team can help you understand how these tax changes might affect you personally.
Okay, so it's not just about understanding the general rules of capital gains tax, but also knowing how those rules play out in the specific context of the Peel region market.
Exactly. It's all about having that local expertise and insight
Okay.
to help you make the best decisions for your situation.
Speaking of big decisions, there's one big elephant in the room we haven't talked about yet.
What's that?
The federal election in October 2025.
Yeah.
The election. That throws a whole wrench into things, doesn't it?
It does, because remember, everything we've talked about today is based on what the current government is doing.
Right.
But a new government could come in and change everything.
Oh, yeah, totally.
They could tweak the tax changes or come up with a whole new set of rules.
Yeah, it's like trying to predict the weather. You know?
Exactly. So much uncertainty.
So what should people do? How do they stay ahead of the game with all this potential change on the horizon?
Well, first of all, stay informed.
Okay, that makes sense.
Pay attention to what the different political parties are saying about real estate and taxes.
Do your research.
Exactly. And second, don't be afraid to reach out to the experts.
You mean people like Laddie Dillon and his team?
Exactly. They're on top of all these changes, and they know how they could impact you.
They're like the capital gains tax whisperers.
Uh-huh. Something like that.
So Laddie's team can help people make sense of all this and create a plan that works for them, no matter what happens with the election.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's all about being informed, getting expert advice, and being prepared for anything.
That's it in a nutshell.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's our deep dive into capital gains tax changes.
Hopefully you found it helpful.
We tried to make it as clear and easy to understand as possible, and maybe even a little bit fun.
We did our best.
And remember, if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in property in the Peel region, Laddie Dillon and his team are here to help.
Absolutely. They're a fantastic resource.
They can guide you through all the complexities of the market and make sure you're making smart decisions.
And they really care about their clients.
So don't go it alone. Reach out to the experts.
Good advice.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. We will be back with something new and something interesting.